Pleased to welcome John Paddock to the bunker, and I'll say, Coach, if I can still call you Coach.
Yeah, you can.
How's the summer been?
It's been good. Clearly, it was weather-wise, it was a great summer. Hockey-wise, we've been able to be involved a little bit, do a couple things, and we've had, some changes as time went on within our organization. So there was lots to keep us busy.
We got a lot of NHL, AHL, and WHL stuff to go over with John about. But number one, because I mentioned I was talking with James Patrick this morning, the coach of the Winnipeg Ice. He said it's just, for him, he's been in the office 3 weeks. I would assume for you, you've been working pretty hard here. It's not just now.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't really, coach is slightly different maybe, but you don't really have any days off, but you also don't work 8 hours a day. You don't work a regular day. You might, I know one day this summer I worked 6 straight hours, basically on the phone from the lake. But so you can do it, you can work anywhere, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But, there's always lots going on, certainly at my level.
Do you feel anywhere near back to normal, or is it still up in the air?
Well, it feels quite a bit back to normal, I think. That's my feeling. I think that's Dave's. I think that's our team as we get ready for training camp. As we've known for 16 or 17 months, COVID can be, make things unpredictable and change, and you have to be ready to adapt. So with this, sort of fourth wave, I mean, I think it makes you feel just a little bit eerie, but, vaccinations, et cetera, I'm pretty confident our league's going to go through ahead. There's been no indication it's not.
Good. See, I'm always like to drop in some comments from the viewers. James is watching in Borden, Manitoba on YouTube. He says, John Paddock was the coach of the Jets for my first ever Jets game. Game 4, Winnipeg versus Vancouver, my first whiteout. Jets won, going up 3-1 in the series, only to lose 3 straight. But it made me a Jets fan. Jasmine Desjardins says, can't wait to get back to the rink. Go Pats. From the General in Calgary, I might be outing some people, but I think the Rod Pedersen Show is the best morning sports show on YouTube at the moment. Well, I would agree. And Game Plus television as well. Listen, I could sit and talk with John about the Pats all day, and I might, but I will get around to the NHL stuff, I promise. But Connor Bedard did tell me that he gets into town today. And he was just on with us, John, 10 days ago, and I talked about the wild year for him, right? Going to I don't have to tell you. Do you think this year he settles a little more? And what could he be capable of if he's more settled now?
Well, he's going to be settled. He's going to be living with his parents are moving here, living with them. He's going to be going to the rink regular like everybody else. So there's definitely going to be a routine. What he's capable of, I still pinch myself to this day that we have a player that's potentially like this, that's whispered, it's not even really whispered about generational players. So I think the doors are wide open. We're going to try and do all we can to, enhance his ability, and because he's naturally going to enhance other players' abilities with him and on the team. So it's really exciting. I think that's what gets us back to a little bit of normalcy, and I think that it's going to be a treat for the people, and it's going to be a treat for our players when there's fans in that building.
Here's the thing. You talk about being around a kid like that, and I look at your hockey DB. You played for the Philadelphia Flyers, Washington Capitals, Quebec Nordique, coached in the AHL, NHL. The skill with Connor's one thing, but talk about rising to the occasion. I mean, that last game, right, when he was honoring his grandfather, Garth. You put him on the power play. Well, I guess Strush put him on the power play, right? Quarterback it. And he scores the winner on a snapshot in overtime in his last game. You know what I'm saying? Rising to the moment.
Well, yeah, I think it's just something that players, athletes have in different sports, into the last game, and you go back to the first game. He scores his first 2 goals, in the first game. And they have an innate ability to play on the ice, but also to train and, be focused and just do everything that allows them to be that good.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember we talked about, I guess, what his point production would be last year. We never really knew. I think what it worked out to 1.87, I think.
Something, 28 in 15 games. So, it's it's unheard of. Like
How about
I may
that?
have said this to you before. I've repeated it to lots of people. Last winter as we're waiting and going into the hub, and Dave and Brad would say like, how what's going to be like. I thought if he did at 15 what Sammy did at 16, that's a pretty good player. But clearly, he was way over that points wise, and with a team that was just average at best. So it's incredible. We're just all excited to be able to get this season started.
From Jennifer at the Four Seasons, she says it is going to be amazing to see that kid live. From the General in Calgary, looking forward to the NHL season. Go Flames, go. From Dan, the Jets fan, can't wait for the Ice, Moose, and Jets playing again. From Michael Wynn, John Paddock, coaching legend. From Drew Koser, who is the Brent Sutter of the Prairie Junior Hockey League. Hope all is good, JP. Good luck this year. From Drew Koser. Dan, well, one last thing on Connor Bedard. Can we just talk about the person, by the way, and what an unbelievable kid he is? Because that means a lot, too.
Well, yeah, he's been raised incredibly by his parents, and they've just supported him immensely, and it's just fit right in with his drive and his focus and his nutrition to be a big factor in what kind of player he is.
I mentioned Dan Saravelli. He's watching in Philadelphia on YouTube. He says, John, you played in Philly. Can you tell me what it was like playing there?
Well, it's a great place to play. I don't think that's really changed. I happen to be there. Well, I've been there at different times in different roles, from playing to management to assistant coach. I guess, people talk about the fans and, how they can be tough on you in Philly. But, at the teams when I was there, that we never really experienced that or had that individually. So it's a wonderful sports town. To me, that's where I grew up in hockey.
Is that right? Well, yeah, all through the 70s and 80s. But I was just in Winnipeg doing the show there. They still talk about you there in very glowing terms. Like, compare Winnipeg to Philly, if you don't mind, from an NHL fan base perspective.
Well, Winnipeg has tremendous fans, that's for sure. I just happened to be in Philly at a certain time. But, I think, you can't be a Jet in whatever era of team and be in the playoffs and not be overwhelmed. I mean, the whiteout, I remember going into our first playoff game against Vancouver, my first year there, after we'd split in Vancouver, and some of the veteran players were talking. We probably had at least one day between games, the whiteout and the noise, and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be pretty good, but it's so much better, bigger than you can imagine. I think the only thing that can compare to in the regular season, as good as Philadelphia is in the old Chicago Stadium when they play the national anthem, and when they play the national anthem in Madison Square. Those are special things, but the Winnipeg whiteout, it's fantastic.
I got a sense that Winnipeg was a bit of a negative sports town. Always have. And then this year they were trying to run Maurice out of town and Chevy right up until the playoffs. But having just been there, John, I couldn't believe how positive they are for this upcoming year, and they've gotten over being swept by Montreal. I was shocked how fast it took them to get over that. Are you? Did you sense that?
Yeah, I think so. I think that the moves that Chevy made, improving his defense this year, gives the people a lot of hope. They got a top-notch goalie. They got a good, deep group of forwards. And I think, they got over it as quick as Montreal eliminated them. That was a big surprise to me based on how they played against Edmonton. So, it's, I have season tickets there. Hardly have been to a game, of course, but, I'm looking forward to them having success this season.
If you don't mind taking some questions here, Darnell Theros, one of our sponsors from Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions, says, I'm looking forward to watching my first Pats game in Regina. Can't miss this show. And on that topic, by the way, Greg Sturr, whom I think you would know, he's one of the security guys there. He says, does John think the Pats will go the same route as the CFL and some of the other leagues and only allow double vaccinated fans in the rink? I would think you're part of those discussions. Can you tell us what you know?
Well, it's not really a Pats question. It's going to be a league question, and it's going to be the health advisors question, and certainly our organization will be involved in that. as will Saskatoon stuff, the League PA, Moose Jaw, Swift. So it's bigger than just the Regina Pats, but I don't know anything for sure. But I think that, as you look at this fourth wave and what's happening in other sports, read into it what you want.
Right. Well, the WHL instituted the policy that if you play or work in the league, you have to be vaccinated, and which was not a problem for me. I don't think it was a problem for you.
No.
Right? I just wonder how other leagues haven't been able to institute that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, Ontario and Quebec did before us, so, the top junior hockey, amateur hockey in Canada is, it's hard to say what, I mean, it's certainly clear it's harder in the United States, but I think that's changing a little bit too.
From Jeff Caldwell is watching on Facebook. He says, watching down here in Oregon and love your WHL and CHL coverage. What do you think of the Winterhawks logo change? I like the old one, but I can live with the new one. Not that big of a deal. I don't know if you want to pull it up or not, Clark. We probably don't have time. What do I think? It's almost exactly the same as Tri-City's old logo when Carey Price played there. This is the first thing I thought when they brought up the new Portland logo. I guess if you had to make a change for insensitivity reasons, fine. But I thought they could have done a little better. The Eagle logo for Portland is just like the old Tri-City logo. That was the first thing that I thought of. Before I let you go, John, you brought up the Jesperi Kotkaniemi offer sheet situation with Carolina Montreal. What's your read on this?
I find it sort of amusing. Clearly there's a little bit of ill will there with, sort of a same version of release, etc. A very good young player who hasn't been productive. The salary is, as has been written, is, far more than, you would normally have him in this situation. But each team has to do their business the way they see fit. But there is those kind of things. There's trickle-down effects for other players. And it'll be interesting. I've read already, they'll have to qualify him next year if he ends up in Carolina and they can work something out at less and stuff. Yeah, I guess they can, but I don't know. It's interesting. Sort of the first time in hockey, something like this, I think, in an ill will. So it's causes a little bit of August excitement, and I'm interested to see on Saturday what's going to happen.
That's what he has to make a decision. So he's signed the
4th. Montreal has to make a decision on the 4th
of September. Right. Okay. So, last hour, Rich Sutter was on with us. I put it to him, and he said he's surprised this doesn't happen more. Are you?
Well, I guess at times, but it's I don't know. The ramifications can obviously come back to you and stuff. And it's not, you have to worry about your own team. You have to do business as you see fit. I was in Philadelphia when we did the Shea Weber offer sheet. And we thought we were getting the player.
That was a whopper, right?
That was a whopper.
$8 million?
It was around $12 million a year for 14 years.
Wow.
So, teams can do business as they see fit within the rules. And to me, I think Montreal, if they can go out and acquire a forward, I guess a centerman somehow with the assets they might get and something else or whatever assets it takes, if it's less money and a longer contract, I think they will let them go because, they have to balance their books, they have to balance their cap, and accordingly. So it's going to be still interesting, though. I think it could go either way.
Yeah, I just think it is amusing for sure, but at $6.1 million, for a guy that was healthy scratched in the playoffs.
Last game and first 2 games or something.
Yes.
I know.
But they also seem to know what they're doing in Carolina, so I guess they have the money. But in the couple minutes that we have left, John, what is your best sales pitch for Regina Pats hockey to get tickets and get out and watch these guys, your guys?
Contact the office. Get your tickets. We got an improving young team, certainly featuring Connor. But, the additions that we've been able to do this summer, signing Svozil, getting Stringer. We got a different dimension of a defenseman, a little bit older guy from Seattle, Bateman, and Jacob Brook is a new player to us. He played 30 seconds last year. He's played in season and a half with us, he's probably played, I'm not sure what it is, no more than 10 games, if that. So those are 4 we think will be significant players as they get their feet under them on our team and in our league. So we like where the direction we're going.
Me too. Can't wait. John, always good seeing with you and chatting hockey. Thanks for coming in. We'll see you in the rink.
Thanks very much, Rod.
General Manager of the Regina Pats, John Paddock, with us here in the bunker. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of the Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.